All right, well, welcome everybody. Today we have with us Kay Larson Hayes. She's from Page Up, and she'll be walking through our training this afternoon, or well, this morning, and she'll get us started, and we'll just kick right off. If you have questions, though, please put them in the chat, and we'll make sure they are asked and answered throughout the session. We may just answer them in chat if we get quite a few, so we have enough time to cover all the content with Kay walking us through the training. So with that, Kay, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Natalie. Good morning, folks. Thank you for joining us. We do have a lot of material to cover this morning, and I want to be able to make sure that we have time for questions for folks. So as Natalie said, please put them in the chat. She'll, if she needs to, she will let me know that there's a question, and then we can answer it for you or show you what it means. And if not, she'll answer them for you herself. So let's go ahead and get started. So this morning we are talking about the new performance management system that GVSU team has been working on with me. So our agenda will talk about our process overview, how you're going to go about logging into performance management, how you will be navigating through it, and how you will be completing your actions. Now in today's session, we are going to try to focus on what it is that you as the employee will need to do, but there will be some overlap clearly from what your supervisors do as well as what you do. So we'll try to stay focused on that to kind of help move things along. So first of all, you're going to want to know, how do I get in to see this new performance portal, and what can I do in it? So in order to get in, the team has provided you a couple of different links. You have a direct link. You will have access, so it came up, so let me point out, you will have access to the slide deck after the trainings are over with. Natalie will make them all available as well as the recordings. So in order to get to the system, there is a direct link that you will be able to use. They are going to launch on the week of July 12th, so anytime prior to that, there really is no need for you to actually go there because there's nothing that you can do. You can also go to Human Resources, to their website, and there is a link here called Performance Evaluation Plan. So you have those two options. You have a third option. The third option will be that when HR launches the reviews, and everybody's reviews are going to launch at the same time, you will get an email, because the first action in the system does in fact belong to you as the employee. So you will get an email notification with embedded in that email will be a link to the performance site. So again, you have a direct link. You can go to Human Resources page, or when you have a task to do, there will be a link embedded in your site, in your email. So you should be able to click on that directly. So please don't delete those emails. Once you get that, and once you come into the site, and a point I just want to point out that I forgot to say is you will be using your single sign-on access, so you won't have to worry about a new username or password. Your single sign-on will work very well within the system. So when you come in, this is what you're going to see. It is a shared menu. So basically your supervisor sees exactly the same thing that you do. They just don't necessarily see your information in the same way. As an employee, you're going to click on My Performance Review to be able to begin your review. We'll talk about the About Me and the My Team. My Team belongs to supervisors, so you really shouldn't need to worry about that unless you have a dual role, and then that makes it very easy because you can just jump back and forth from you to your team. These are the 11 steps that are involved in the admin evaluation process. So step one is that you as the employees are going in and identify your goals, your projects, and job responsibilities. Once you have done all of that, and we'll actually walk through the system so that you'll not only see the slide deck, but how it works in living color. And so then you can see the rest of the steps. Step 11 is basically an automatic step. As soon as the supervisor reviews any final acknowledgements, they will move it into that evaluation complete step. There's nothing that anybody needs to do at that step It just signifies to the system that it is complete, and you will have access to view your finalized review. As you will notice in here that there are these 2 evaluation periods. We'll talk about those as we move through the process. So we're going to try to focus on your employee steps only. So basically step 1, you're going to go in and identify goals and responsibilities. During the 2 evaluation periods, there really isn't a lot that you'll need to do. Obviously, this is the period of time where you can go in and make entries about things that you're completing, or maybe just doing your job. And then as soon as that 2nd evaluation period is over with, then you will immediately receive an email. And these are automatic steps, so nobody has to push any buttons within the system. The first one is set for 75 days, the second one a little bit shorter. But as soon as that time passes, then you will be prompted to complete your self-eval. The supervisor review employee discussion, not anything that you really need to do other than the fact that you'll be invited by your supervisor. So let's go ahead and move through. Step 1 is where you're going to identify your goals and job responsibilities. As I said, you will receive an email notification. So please don't disregard those emails. They are important. You will have a button you will be able to click on, or a link you'll be able to click on, then you'll be able to log in and you will see new. So you will see my performance reviews and you will see the new button. You can simply click on the title and that will open up your review for you. This is what the new evaluation form and the sections look like. So you will have a start page that will clearly have instructions or informational for you. So it will tell you who your supervisor is and then what the deadline is to complete this task. You'll simply click on next and you'll be able to move through. There aren't a lot of tabs, so you'll enter your goals, your job knowledge, and we'll talk about each one of these. Section 1 is goals and projects. So this is where you will be able to enter any of your goals. You will see under this that there are instructions, very clear instructions. The team has done a great job in putting together instructions for you as employees as well as supervisors. So you will just simply click on add goals and projects and you will be able to add those items. We'll look at that more in depth when we get in. Looks very similar to what you see here when you're clicking on job knowledge. So here they want you to add your key job knowledge and responsibilities. We recommend no more than 4, but some of you, in some cases, that may be that it requires more than 4. You will simply click on the add job knowledge button. You will get, so this is what you will eventually see, but for the first year that you're in the system, you're just going to see new job knowledge and responsibilities. Because you don't have any previous reviews in the system, but next year, this is the really nice part about this, is that let's say you add your job responsibilities, key job responsibilities this year. You will simply next year be able to come to the same tab, click on this button and pull in the ones that you have already entered, if they are still key to what you're doing on it in your job. Or maybe there's only a few of those that are key and you want to add a new one. You will be able to do that. Okay. And in order to do that, you will click on, you'll add a title, be it budget management, be it training, be it whatever it is that are key job responsibilities for you. You'll be able to add those. And then kind of a description of what it is. You also have the ability to upload a document if you want to each one of those items. University competencies is the next area within this. Oh, no. University competencies is the next area within the system. These are already preloaded for you. So these are the standard university competencies that we have. They are here in the review so that you have opportunity to review them, understand what they are, because you will in fact be rated on these. You will also notice that the team has a link here called Performance Management Toolkit. When they launch the reviews the week of July 12th, this link will be active, and information regarding the performance review process, different tools will be there, and you'll be able to click on that link. The next tab is professional development. So again, if you have any professional development items that you want to add, by all means, we encourage folks to do that. Looks the same as adding goals, adding job responsibilities. The process is very similar, and the instructions are in fact very similar as well. So they are not required. So I know this came up in the last session. Is professional development section required? No, it is not. Please note that if you don't have any items for a particular area, when it comes time to do the actual ratings, that page will be blank other than the instructions will show up there. So we definitely do encourage at least one. Again, you'll enter the title and then the description of what the activity is. The last tab is overall rating. So in the early part of the process, no action will be required here. This will not appear until it is actually time for you to do the ratings. But the way the system is built is that all tabs appear all the time. So I know I seem like, okay, I went from step one, what happened to step two? Step two is where your supervisor will actually go out and review your goals. Your supervisor will also have the ability to go in and add additional goals or job responsibilities or even professional development if it's deemed necessary. So you will be able to see that once it's done and moved into the evaluation period. During the evaluation periods, basically there is nothing that is required within the system. You can, although, log in at any time and add what we call journal entries, or you just want to call notes, okay? So we have a fancy name for them, but they might just be that you want to come in and you want to track some notes on yourself of things that you accomplished or things that you've been working on. They may be above and beyond, or they may be included in your review. So you will have a couple of areas to be able to do that. You will see the journal entry here with the little cross. So it will look like this enlarged. Once you click on that, then a screen very similar to this is going to open up. You also will be able to go under About Me, click on Journal, and you will also have that little add button. And then this is what will appear. Now it does have hashtags. Hashtags really are, for you as an employee, probably not as necessary because it's only you. The tags work really nicely when supervisors are going in because they can tag items for you as an employee, for somebody else within the department, things like that, kind of keep things in order. But if you have a whole lot of training items that you want to do and you want to tag them as training, by all means, you can do that as well. So, additionally, which is really a nice feature for supervisors and employees, we also have what we call an everyday performance app. This app is available in the Apple Store as well as the Android. And I should know this one because I have an Android, where you get your Android apps. You just put in Everyday Performance app, it will come up with the PageUp app, and you can install that on your phones. Why is this cool? Some people, just like to be, they're much more phone oriented and they like to keep track of things that way. You may be at a conference, you want to jot down some things that are important to you that would apply to what you're doing in your job. So you can also use that as well. So you can also record conversations and take photos. So on the Everyday app. So again, if that's something that interests you, by all means, please feel free. It is available now, so you could actually download it. You just won't have a link to it because your reviews haven't been launched. But you can come in at any point in time once your reviews have been launched from that point forward and use the Everyday Performance app. Okay, so that takes care of steps 3 and 5. So those are basically just evaluation periods. The system will automatically move the items through at that point in time, so you won't have to do anything. And then as soon as it moves that second step through you, it is going to come to you as the employee. Again, you'll get that email. It says it's now time to complete your self-evaluation. Please click the link below to begin, something like that. They've done a really good job of putting together some very comprehensive emails for you. You will come in, again, under my performance reviews, click on the title. You will see that that's the task at hand, and you'll be able to complete it. When you do that, you will be asked to complete. You're actually going to be asked to rate your job responsibilities, university competencies, and provide an overall rating. So those will be the 3 areas that will be rateable. This is what they will look like. Overall, you will see your name, won't say just employee performance. You will see your name and you will be able to rate yourself. You will also be able to leave a comment. So for every item that you rate, you'll have the ability to actually leave a comment. I'm going to turn it over to Natalie to discuss the new rating system.
Right, thanks, Kay. So with our new evaluation system, we have a new rating scale that we'll be using and rolling out with this new review process. And so as you can see, we have 4 categories to be rated in for the new system. They are exceeding, succeeding, developing, and needs improvement. And really with these scales, what we're anticipating and hoping to see is that most folks are going to fall in the succeeding or developing categories. These are primarily where we'd anticipate folks to be sitting, and then exceeding is going to be somebody that's really demonstrating exceptional work, going way above and beyond their role, exceeding those expectations set for the position or their goals and things like that. And then needs improvement is obviously the other end of that scale, where not meeting the minimum requirements and is requiring improvement. A difference of this new system is that in past, the needs improvement category was tied to launching a performance improvement plan automatically. That is no longer the case in this new system. That is still an option to be used for enhancing performance and improving it, but it is not a requirement if someone receives a needs improvement rating. And then for things like developing, we'd see that with newer employees, or if there's been some restructuring in a department and a shifting of duties with retirements or things like that. It might be something that's just newer to you. So you may be a longer term employee, not brand new, but you might receive a developing rating because it's something new to you that you're still building skill and efficiency in, haven't quite gained that proficiency yet. And then succeeding is going to be the kind of the standard of, yes, I'm meeting all the goals that I have, I'm meeting the expectations of my role. And so really you're going to see vast majority of ratings in the succeeding or developing range. And then those other extremes for those kind of edge cases. So this will be the system of rating that we'll use for all of the different rated pieces within the system. And so with that, I'll turn it back over to Kay.
Thank you very much. So step 7, once you've completed your self-evaluation, step 7 will be the supervisor evaluation. They'll go in and do their job. And then step 8. So again, remember, we're just focusing on the tasks at hand that you will be involved in. So at this point in time, just like you're accustomed to, they're going to schedule a meeting with you. You're going to come in, they're going to go over your review with you. And once they have done that, then they're going to mark that task complete. And then move it on to you to acknowledge. So step 9 will be your acknowledgement. Excuse me. Again, you'll get that notification, you'll log in. You will have the ability to review the entire evaluation, and you also have the ability to make any final comments. Please note that when you are acknowledging or in that stage of acknowledging your review, you cannot edit or change anything. It is basically all a read-only document. Much of it you've probably already gone over, but I know as a former employee myself, then I wanted to kind of take some time, digest everything on my own, read it, and then at the very last page, you will have the ability to make any final comments. You do not have to leave a final comment by any means, but you will need to push the item on to the next step. And that's where final comments are encouraged. And so you will hit that next step, and then the final step in the process will be that it will go to your supervisor to actually be able to review the comments. Again, when it is in that final comment or in the acknowledgement stage for both the employee and the supervisor, nothing can be changed. So you will be able to view all comments, you will be able to see your ratings, and we'll look at that when we get into the site. So we'll go on to your supervisor. They will basically complete the step of reviewing any final comments, and then it will move into that final step of evaluation complete. So this is where you will be able to view your completed reviews. Some people like to be able to go in and do that. Some people like to just print one out, take it home with them. I was one of those people, and I worked in HR. But your reviews will always be in the system. So do know that as long as GVSU continues to maintain PageUp as their vendor, then your reviews will always be there and always be acceptable to you. Nice part about it, I know most of us like to look back on the previous year. So when you go to start your review next year, this may probably be the time that this is important. So you will be able to log into the system, and this time you're going to use that About Me, and you're going to click on Performance Review. Because this will all be gone, you won't see anything here. You can come into the system at any time during the course of the year. It doesn't necessarily just mean after the review period is over with, or before the next one starts. You will have access 365, 24/7, 365 to your evaluation. You'll click on Performance Review. You're going to come to a screen that looks very similar to this. You'll change your status to complete, hit search, and then you will click on View Report. And then you will be able to see your report in an actual paper document. The tabs that you originally saw when you were completing it will go away, and this will all convert into one very nice readable document. All right, so with that, any questions before we jump into the actual show itself? Whoops. So I'm going to have to.
Okay, so we're okay to move forward.
Perfect, thank you so much. So you're going to see me, I'm going to have to jump back in and out a few times just to kind of advance things through the system. So my employee's name is Sally, my supervisor's name is Charlie, just so we get a frame of reference. With regards to that, I'm going to come in as Sally right now, my employee, just like you. So when I come in as an employee, this is my screen. This is exactly what you will see when you log into the performance system for the first time. It will have your name up here. It will also show your name over here. Under here, you will be able to log out smartphone app if you have it. You can also integrate it there. And then you'll see a profile. Not very much information, probably your name, your department, and maybe your position will be all that will show up there. Sally doesn't have any information there, so I won't take it. We're going to come back to the journal entry piece again, but again, just so that you know, if you want to make notes, by all means, you can do that. So I could say I wanted to put performance, and maybe I attended training on 6:30. Okay, and then I can add it. So now it's been added. You can also come over here to About Me, the journal entry. You'll be able to see I probably have a lot of performance training items. You have the ability to actually delete one of these if you want to. So you can hit the waste basket and delete it. You can delete your entries at any point. So you may want fresh entries for next year. Once you're in there, you can simply click on the little house. It will take you home and bring you back to that main screen. So we're going to click on this title, just like the instructions say. Here is your start page. So on that start page, the team has put together some basic instructions or information. So here's going to be your supervisor. Here's going to be the deadline to complete this task. And to continue, please click the next button. And that button appears down here. Once you do that, then you're going to be brought to the various tabs or section types within your review. The first one is your goals. So you will notice that the instructions for both the employee and the supervisor are on the same page. Basically, our system is very transparent. It has one page for everybody. So right now you're adding your goals. Here is a link to the performance toolkit. So again, if you want to get there for any reason to look at anything, you can do that. And it will open up in a new tab on your computer screen. So we're going to go ahead and add a new goal. So maybe that is our goal for this year. You'll have your own. Then you're going to put whatever it is that you're actually working on. Oops. Here. If I want to upload a document, I can simply click on upload. It's going to ask you to select a file. It will drive straight to your computer and you'll be able to upload something. I don't necessarily have anything that I want to upload at this point in time, but just so you'll see. These are the accepted types of documents. You can pretty much upload anything that you need to. You can add as many goals. There's no specifics here that you would like. So any goals or projects that you're working on, you can add those here. You would simply click next. Now you're going to come to your job responsibilities. Same applies. There's a set of instructions here. It basically says click on add job knowledge responsibilities. Click on that and you will come to a title. So I'm going to say, I'll just put and again, key. So they do encourage no more than 4, but again, depending upon the complexity of your job, there may be more than that. And you can go on and on. Again, for each one of those, you can upload. You have a full text editor here. Not necessarily do I think that you'll need too much of that, but you do have a full text editor. You will notice that there's a saving button there. So every couple of seconds or whenever I go to actually enter an item in the system, then within a second later, it will automatically save for me. So you won't have to worry about clicking any kind of a save button. When you click next, every time you click next, it will automatically generate that save button as well. So we have now moved on to the next highlighted tab, which is our competencies. These are all preloaded for you. Again, there's a link here to the strategic plan. So you can go through. They're here simply to let you know and make you aware of the items that you will be rated on. Once you've reviewed those, you can click next. And then you have your professional development. As I said earlier, this is not rated during the actual evaluation process, and it is not required. But we are going to encourage folks to actually go in and at least put one professional development item in, be it whatever it is. Maybe for many of you, it's just coming to performance management training. So that might be your professional development item. So let's say maybe some want to start some leadership training. So again, a little better description. For time purposes, I'll just add that. and you will simply click next. So we can see it is very easy to move through the system. We're on the overall rating tab because we're not in the evaluating phase. You didn't have nothing to do here. So we'll click next and we'll simply move through. This is going to show you right here that the next step in the process is for your supervisor to review the goals and approve them. So we're going to simply click on. You do have a summary here. So again, this gives you an opportunity before you move forward to kind of just take a fast look. If you want to, maybe there's an additional goal that you decided that you want to put. You can click the back button or you can click straight back to the goals and projects and add that item. If there is nothing, then you're going to click on Supervisor Reviews. Okay, so that's everything from the initial step that you all need to do. I'm going to quickly log in as your supervisor just to complete that the process, to move it through the next few steps so that you can see what it looks like. Natalie, do we have any questions? Or do you have?
I'm answering them through the chat though, so you can keep moving forward.
Perfect. What a team we got going on here. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go through as a supervisor. As the supervisor, your supervisor, as I said, does have the ability to add additional items to anything that you have put on in the system. But for today, we're going to be a really good supervisor and we're not going to add anything. We're just going to kind of move through it. So your supervisor will see this. They'll see exactly, just so you see real quickly, they'll see exactly what you've put in. And they will be able to add any additional ones. If that's the case, you'll be able to see them under the during the next steps. So we'll click next steps. And now supervisor will move it into an evaluation period. Now, generally speaking, there's nothing that you need to do here. By all means, once it's in the evaluation period, this is where you can go in and make any journal entries that you want. So if I come back in as yourself, you will be able to see that your review is in the evaluation period. You can hover over this and you can say that you can see that this is due to be completed on the 27th, October 21. This date will change depending upon when somebody launches something, and then you'll be able to see the next step is a mid-year check-in. You don't have access to actually get into the review. You can go about me, you can add any other additional journal entries. You can look at your journal entries. You can add new journal entries. So this is a period of time for you to be journaling, doing your work. Again, now, I will show you that if you want to see this, you can also click on here. This will basically tell you where, what has been completed in the process. So you're in that evaluation period and its duration is 75 days. Okay. So again, no access at this point, just simply making journal entries. Maybe I'm working on the budget. Because it is about me. Okay. And then I can come back out and I can log out at any point in time. And I knew that would probably happen. So the next step, so I'm going to actually force it through to the next step. The next step is for the supervisor. It is a mid-year check-in. So I'm actually going to push it even farther than that for our timing purposes. So I'm going to move it straight through, but let me talk about what happens in the mid-year check-in. That step belongs to your supervisor. So your supervisor will probably call you up. It's just a general, how you doing? They may very well go in and make some comments on each one of your items. And hopefully it's an opportunity for you and the supervisor to have a feedback session and jot down things. There may not be any particular things that they need to jot down, but they will be able to do that. Then once they've done that, it'll move back into another evaluation period. And at the end of that second evaluation period, it will automatically move to employee complete self-evaluation. That really is your step. So you are able to come in at this point in time. Again, some basic instructions here for you. Clicking on next. And now you're able to complete your part of the process. So you will notice now that we are in the goals and projects. You don't have the ability to rate yourself on this one because there is no rating required. There's a couple of things you can do. You can add a comment that you have. You can save and share it. You have the ability to make something save in private. It basically puts your comment in a draft state. So as you're working on your review, maybe you want to go back and you want to add something to it. You will notice that you have 3 dots over here. You can click on the edit, and that will allow you to come back in and add. So you will save. If you put something in that draft save as private mode, you will have to click on the 3 dots to publish. And then it will be available to anybody who's looking at your review. Okay, so that's that one. Now, the next point that you can also do here is we can actually also add a journal entry. So I can click on and I can say, all right, let me look at my journal entries. Oh yeah, I said I was improving the budget process. So I want to link that to it. Clearly my description will tell me what I did to improve that budget process. So I've already made the comment. I don't have to make another one. And I can just simply link that item to it. Now I will have to rate myself. So again, as Natalie talked about, here are the 4 ratings. And so I can simply select one. Very clear to read, sort of just like having a radial button or a checkbox on a piece of paper. And so I can rate myself. Then I can move on to training, and then I can just, maybe on this one I didn't have something, so I can say completed, and I can rate myself on that one. Maybe I think I exceeded this one. And again, depending upon my job responsibilities. Now, as long as you have the review, you have the ability to actually change your ratings. Once the review moves to your supervisor, you can no longer do that. So I'm going to save and share this. I'm going to leave this rating here. I'm going to click on next. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to rate every one of, I think I'm good at my university values. You will go through and you will rate all of your competencies. My leadership, maybe I'm still working on that one. Intercultural understanding, maybe I'm still working on that, and I can add comments here to, what I've either done or what I'm working on to improve. So these could be comments with regards to and you can share them. Attend your leadership training. Again, professional development is not a rated item, but you can add a comment that maybe you're in progress, maybe something that you want to continue. And move through. So last but not least, you'll have the ability to make your overall rating. Provide supporting comments, so they want you to encourage you to add a comment. And then that's pretty much the end of it. You are able to see all of the individual items, how you rated yourself. So again, you can take a final look at any of those items. You can go back to any item if you want. And if not, and you're ready to move forward, then you will click on go to next step. So it is important to note, folks, that you do have to follow the system all the way through to the end. If you do not click go to next step, the system does not automatically move for you. So one, this gives you as the employee time to complete your tasks, hopefully before the deadline. But if not, then past that. But we do encourage everybody to stay within that time frame. And then you will manually yourself have to click go to next step. You could set it up so that the system does it, but we want people to feel like they have the opportunity to go out and take the time to do their evaluations. So now to evaluate, you can see the evaluation has moved to the supervisor complete state. So again, there's nothing, you cannot access it at this point in time. If you did notice that there was something that you did forget, you can contact your employee. They can move it back one step. Okay, or if that's not the case, maybe your supervisor is out, you can contact HR and they will help you as well. Okay, so the next step actually does belong. So I'm going to quickly go in as your supervisor, kind of complete the task so that we can move through to yours. You will never see that message because the system will always have long enough to actually refresh before. So as soon as you're done, then your supervisors will be notified via an email that you have completed your portion of the evaluation. So I'm going to just kind of quickly move through this one. So again, they'll be able to see your notes. They can leave a note. They'll rate yourselves the same thing. They'll be able to leave any comments. And their ratings may in fact be somewhat different than yours. So, and that's perfectly fine. Oops. Again, no rating on theirs. Oh, they'll be able to put their overall rating for you out here. And your supervisors will be required to leave final comments. And then that's simply complete. So the next step in the process belongs to the supervisor, and it is for you to have that employee review discussion. Supervisors can do a couple of things here. They can bring, obviously they're going to schedule that. They're going to either be able to print out your review. So I'll show you what a printed copy looks like so that you'll see it on your side. So they can print out a copy, they can put it in a PDF, and you'll be able to see your comments, their comments, and all of the ratings. So they can do it that way. They can email it to you ahead of time, or they can just wait till you come in and they can share your screen with you. Once they've actually gone in and manually completed that task, then the final task that you will have to do in the system is to acknowledge your evaluation. So we're going to come back in one final time. And so now your manager has met with you, it's fully review your assessment, add any additional comments on the last page. So you will have that. So now this is your opportunity to take time to look through, review anything that the manager has in your ratings. You will notice that everything is in fact grayed out so that you can no longer change anything, you can no longer add anything. And the same with the overall rating. So you can see yours, you can see theirs, and on the final step, you can actually scroll down. You can scroll down to the bottom, and you will have the ability to make any final comments. Again, they're not required for employees. So if you don't want to leave one, you don't have to. You can see your manager's final comments as well, and then you will move it on to the final step. So that is their final step for the review. And so for the most part, everything is done for you. I am going to come back one final time. Just so that you have the understanding of where to go to see your final review. So managers basically coming in, they cannot change anything. They can only scroll down to the bottom and they can see your final comments, and they can see their final comments. They can add to it. And then go to next step. That actually puts the review in the complete status. So that is evaluation complete. So that moves that into that step. And then as an employee, now you're going to go. So the final slide on my deck was, you will come to About Me. You will click on Performance Reviews. This is what your screen will look like. You will change the status to Complete and click Search. So as you can see, this individual has 2, and you will look at your review. And so your review will be a finalized document. It has your name, the name of the review, who your supervisor is, what step the review is in, which is evaluation complete. Your final comments appear at the very top. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see your overall comments and any journal items that you have added. You do have the ability as well, if you like to, you can print this out. You can put it in the PDF, email it to yourself if you want to do that as well, or you can just maintain it in the system, as this is where it will stay. So ladies and gentlemen, that completes your training on the new performance evaluation system.